Hello everyone, welcome to me,
you,
and Doctor Who. If you heard my voice correct, no you didn't. I'm gonna cut it out of the episode, no one's ever gonna hear it again. Hello, welcome everyone. It probably doesn't feel like a long time to anyone. I'm sure we're releasing these episodes weekly or at least every other week, but it's been a while since we've recorded because I went on a trip and not to be TMI, but the day I came back from my trip, I lost my job. So currently looking for a new one. I'm sure by the time this gets uploaded, I'll have one.
Trust me, I hope so too.
I think, a few things. I think, Haley, you have a job now. Welcome.
I do have a job now.
Retail life. How is it treating you?
Thank you. Horrible.
Nothing has changed. All right, since I've left it. But today we are diving into the episode title is Aliens of London. Today's episode is written by Russell T Davies and directed by Keith Boak. Have we heard that name before? I don't know. I think it's Boak or Boak. B-O-A-K. Boak.
That sounds pretty British.
I think it's Boak. Keith Boak.
Boak.
That does sound better British.
Boak the bloke.
Boak the little bloke. Oh, I'm sure he got bullied immensely in primary school. And produced by Phil Collinson. I don't know who that is. When I think Collinson, I think of the energy vampire from What We Do in the Shadows. Is his name Colin? I think his name is Colin.
Well, I made a joke at one point I don't know if it was on an episode or on one of our watches for Patreon, where I was like, oh my god, the guy that did the music for Tarzan.
Oh, okay. So he has produced this before.
Oh yeah, a bunch. He's been on a bunch of the credits.
Thank you for your sweet, sweet money, Phil Collinson. Excuse me. Speaking of burping and farting, we're watching Aliens of London, and if you're familiar with this episode, it's a bit iconic for a certain... I shan't spoil the joke for Haley, but we'll get there when we get there. Did we forget to watch the bumper?
I think we did forget to watch the bumper. It's been a while, folks.
Okay, usually we watch the bumper. Yeah, we're out of practice. Usually we watch the bumper of the last episode before we do the first recording. Do you want to pause and watch it real quick?
I see no reason why not.
All right, we'll be right back.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we just watched it real quick. I hope the editing was seamless and you didn't notice. But Haley, what are you expecting from this episode?
Well, I'm very excited about the bad wolf stuff, as I believe I said last time. I've had a lot of time to think about it since we last watched an episode, and I really feel like the bad wolf in question is either Rose or the Doctor in some capacity or form. I'm very excited to see if we find out about that.
Who knows?
Strong feeling aliens are involved. No. They're gonna blow up Big Ben, and it was a really funny scene to start with for the recap. But and they're gonna crash in some terribly CGI'd water, and they're gonna sneak their way into the government, take over the government, and then rip their head the same way that the main character of never mind, it's a spoiler for the movie.
For the what?
I was gonna spoil I Saw the TV Glow. Oh. Anyone who's seen it knows what I'm talking about. And,
oh my gosh, I'm watching this episode. This is just like I Saw the TV Glow.
TV Glow. Girl who has only seen I Saw the TV Glow. I'm getting some real
It's just like that. It's like I'm back there again.
Oh my god, it's the only movie I've ever watched.
You know what? That's a good movie to only have ever watched.
That's true.
I feel bad if that is the only movie you've ever watched, because it's a very metaphor-y movie, so you really should and should not take everything at face value type movie.
I remember telling, not to get too off topic, but I told a friend one time that was the first thing I did one morning was I just woke up, I went downstairs, I made breakfast, came back upstairs, I watched that, and she was like, that was the first thing you did with your day, was watch that super heavy movie, and I was like, yeah.
I watched that while I was on the plane to my hometown.
That's right.
On my super delayed plane. It's a long story, I can't get into, what happened on my airplane trip, but it was super delayed, and then when I finally got on, I was like, you know what, let's watch I Saw the TV Glow. I've heard good things about it. And then, I got off the plane. I was like, where am I?
Whoa.
Where the hell am I?
Yeah, I had to watch a Monster High movie after to, like, de-stress.
Yeah, you gotta, like, you gotta self-care yourself after that movie a little bit, especially if you're trans.
Oh god, that's so real.
I was like, that messed me up. I got my own trans things going on, but whatever. So we talked about who we wrote it, what you think happens. I'll tell you what I remember about this episode. I've talked about, the jokes that may or may not be appearing in this.
Yeah, you've led me to believe that there will be some Captain Underpants style potty humor, which I look forward to.
Who knows? Who knows? I love Cabaret because now I just say who knows like the MC, like who knows?
You sound like a 70s game show host.
Who knows what's behind this curtain? I remember very vividly the opening scene of this episode. It's I think very iconic for what it is. I'm excited for you to watch it. Not to get too spoilery, I was reminded of the opening of this episode from an edit on TikTok, which made like a really sad edit of it, and I was like, damn, I didn't think about it like that. But
You'll have to send it to me later.
if I can find it. I don't know. It's like I saw that like months ago, and you know how deep my TikTok likes gets. It's like amazing down there. But I remember also the dinner scene monologue, sort of. I don't remember if this is a two-parter episode, so I don't remember if that's in this episode or the next one. It might be in the next one, if I remember correctly. And I think people who have seen this episode know what I'm talking about. What else do I remember? Oh, I'm gonna make a joke that only Doctor Who fans are gonna get, but this is also the first appearance of a very memorable character, and yes, you know who she is. And if you're a Doctor Who fan, that's really funny. Just absolute silence from Haley. I love it.
How to react.
It's a very funny joke, Haley. Why aren't you laughing? But
I pressed the laugh button.
Yeah, it's her first appearance. I'm very excited to get to know her. I've got some funny trivia, ready to talk about, once the episode's over. And Haley, are you ready to get started?
I'm not just ready, I am ready, Freddy.
Oh, God, you can't be. God!
I'm ready for Freddy, in fact.
You're ready, Haley. It's Rayleigh Haley. Ready, Haley. That's a bad joke. Let's just get to the episode. Someone needs to shut me up.
Me too.
All right, here we go.
Let's shut up together.
Hooray! Welcome back, everyone. We just watched part one of the two... You should say the joke, actually.
Part one of the two-farter. The two farts, both alike in dignity.
Oh my gosh, there were way more fart jokes than I remember there being.
Oh, don't worry, there's a whole other episode.
There's a whole second episode where we get to delve in further on the types of farts these aliens do.
Farther.
I think we talked like outside the episode, or was it during the commentary where we were like, I can't believe like the return of like a very iconic show, and then Russell T Davies was like, you know what episode 4 needs is an episode that the aliens, all they do is fart.
Like 55 times. This is a show that represents our people. This is a cultural landmark of the UK. And we're not waiting. We're not waiting for episode 52. Right in episode 4 is when we need to start bringing out the big farts.
Yes. And it has to be a two-parter. You can't just skip over this episode. You gotta watch them both. And it's gonna be great. And we're gonna watch it and you're gonna like it.
They were like, okay, so we can have one fart episode, right? And he's like, no, it's got to be 2. There's too much fartitude to contain in just one.
It's too funny. It's too good of a joke, and we can't let it go, and it's gonna be great. Haley, what did you think? How did you feel about this episode aside from all the farts?
Yeah, I think this was the first one I wasn't super crazy about. I didn't dislike it, but I don't know. I'm still debating on my rating, but this will be the first one to be below a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the farts were a lot, and got old after the 15th fart.
Yeah. I think it was the 27th fart for me, you know, that like I was like, all right, I think this joke is getting a little old.
I don't know. I think I have mixed thoughts on the 12-month skip thing because I don't know. I'm curious to see how it plays out and like what the purpose of it is because I don't know. I really feel bad for Mickey. I sympathize with him a lot as a character, and I kind of don't like how apathetic and rude the Doctor is towards him specifically.
Yeah, he's just kind of got like a bone to pick with Mickey for whatever reason.
And the whole like the trying to make it into like a boyfriend thing, like he's not my boyfriend, is so like 2000s. Like it's very of its time, which I was prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
But I can still complain about it.
We've got to have a love triangle.
Exactly.
Where the Doctor does not give a single crap about the other guy. I was gonna say, if I remember correctly, the thing I remember the most from the episode, when I said, earlier in the episode I said there was like a dinner monologue scene, that is definitely in the second part, which is what I remember this episode for, and I think it's I guess it makes the next episode better, but again, I haven't watched it in a really long time, but I think I really like that scene for whatever reason. I don't entirely remember how it goes, though. I just remember one joke from it, and I thought that was pretty funny. Well, I could go through the episode real quick, and, we basically start with, what I remember as a very iconic scene is, the Doctor and Rose landing and saying, like, oh, it's just been a couple days. Oh, he says it's been, like, what? Like 12 hours, I think he says.
I think so. I think it was 12 hours.
Since he landed, and then like there's this like really eerie, stringy music that starts happening, and the Doctor finds like a missing poster for Rose, and she's like going upstairs, and oh yeah, you've been missing for 12 months, not 12 hours, which is very horrifying. And when I was looking at the trivia, I don't think this is a trivia point, but when I was looking at the trivia, one of the things was like, this is the first episode in New Who where it like delves into like the consequences of like, being a time traveler with the Doctor. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that's a trivia point. I think that's like just something you're meant to gain from the narrative. That's where the horror comes from. I don't think that's a fun fact in case you don't have media.
Fun fact, Romeo and Juliet features a forbidden romance. That's a fun fact. You might not pick that up on your first watch.
And I mean, maybe we do need that fun fact for like the state of media literacy as it is right now. Like book talk is a nightmare from what I've heard.
So true.
I'm like barely on it, but I know you're in the trenches.
Oh yeah, no, I stay for the occasional good book recommendation I get, but at what cost?
Yeah. No, literally, I like follow like one guy and I get like horror book recommendations, and like half are pretty good, half are pretty bad. I read that Playground book and everyone was like, it's so weird because it's all gory and stuff. I think it was weird because it was written badly, actually. I don't give a crap
weird in a
about
bad way.
I think it was weird because the gore was very unnecessary. I would be okay with gore if they provided a good reason for it. Listen, I enjoy gore of my comfort character. Sorry to go on that tangent, but it must be said. But so what happens next? They're all at home, and then I think there's like an alien ship crash landing, like crashing into the Big Ben, which is like the Empire State Building for us.
Yeah.
Except there's people in it. Do people go in Big Ben? Not on the top though.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
What do you think I am, British?
Yeah, because like we have the Statue of Liberty. People go to the top of that. I think. People go to the top of the Empire State Building. I think Big Ben is a clock, so no one should be in the clock part, question mark.
Unless someone's working on it.
I guess. R.I.P. the one guy that was working on the clock.
R.I.P. Ben.
I guess he was on the clock. Sorry.
No, I just got it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry it took me a sec.
I just thought you were so disappointed in me. Just like,
No, I'm just so stupid. I didn't even register the joke because I'm dumb.
Yeah, but he lands into the water. The Doctor and Rose show up, and the road to there, I guess, is blocked. And the Doctor's like, "I want to go see," and Rose is like, "Well, do you want to use the TARD?" And he's like, "No, I don't." And she's like, "Well, what are we gonna do?" And he's like, "I don't know, lol." And she's like, well, I guess we could just watch it on TV like normal people. And he's like, what? I don't want to watch it on TV. And then they go to watch TV, and then they have like what is it, like a alien party?
Yeah, like all these people start showing up out of nowhere.
Just to Rose's apartment. I guess like Jackie's like very popular or something, and just keeps inviting people over. And what was it, like a random woman is there, and a bunch of goths are like the
some
first
emos are there.
They're the first ones to arrive, and then
there was a My Chemical Romance concert next door.
And the doctor gets like, I would say understimulated very quickly. And he goes off on his own to go check out the alien crash and stuff. I think what he does, he goes to find out, and he finds out that the alien is I had completely forgotten about this part, but then it, like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, the little piggy!
Oh yeah, the little pig man. George Orwell. Loved his work in Animal
Farm. He's a little pig alien thing, or alien, quote unquote. My favorite character. And he's, honestly, I thought he was really cute, especially when he got up and he was actually alive and he started running. I was like, oh, little guy. And then they shoot him, they execute him. They executed the little guy, and I was so sad. And I think, the doctor does this thing that I feel like he does a lot in, later incarnations. He kind of keeps this attitude of, like, being very open to, alien creatures, not assuming immediately that they're violent. I think that's something that carries over through all the what's the word? Incarnations. Yeah. So you'll see the 10th, 11th, 12th, etc. doctors all doing stuff like that. They get angry. He gets angry at, like, when humans or other people, like, immediately assume the worst. And, I think can be the fault of humans sometimes. I think that's very realistic to how humans act, if we're being honest. I think so. What, the pig dies, and then it, like, cuts to the scene where Mickey basically finds out that Rose is back, and is also, I think, understandably angry.
Very much so.
Because not only that has he been looking for her for the past year, he was also accused of murdering her. And I assume the only reason he wasn't, like, convicted was because there was like no evidence, like no true evidence of, like, what happened to her. Because she literally
quite literally disappeared into thin air. Yeah.
Mickey's like, oh yeah, the doctor left without you. And Rose is like, no, he wouldn't have. He gave me his TARDIS key, which is actually very important. If I remember correctly, not all companions get TARDIS keys. A lot of them do. And then when I was reading, like, about this episode, it's actually meant to be, like, a symbol, like, you've become an official companion when you get, like, the key, amongst other things, I don't recall many specific scenes of the Doctor giving the key to, many companions. I know he gives them to some more of them, but I guess he keeps losing them, because he keeps giving them to the companions, and they don't give it back, if I remember. I don't know.
Have I received my key yet?
Yeah. Well, I had a hard enough time getting a second key to my own apartment, so I don't know if I could give you a spare.
Oh.
Sorry, Haley, you can't come into my apartment. We can't go on time travel adventures, and you can't go missing for a year.
It looks at you with my giant wet baby cow eyes.
Put those away.
There are children here.
I'm trying to talk. But the Doctor reappears again because the key starts glowing, and Jackie's there too, and actually, like, is now able to understand, like, oh, the Doctor's an alien, not just a strange man you went along with for a year to travel, quote unquote. I will say, that was, like, really... If I was Rose, I don't know what I would say, but I don't think I would tell my mom if I went missing for a year, like, oh yeah, I went traveling with a strange man. Mm-hmm. Like, she's gonna assume the worst.
You gotta come up with something better than that. I'd probably just straight up tell her the truth, because you can't get any worse and weirder than that.
Yeah, like I think the worst possible scenario is like your mom would be, or I guess our moms would be like, oh, they're crazy,
Yeah,
oh, they're
exactly.
insane, they're
Which would be
insane
nothing new.
sauce. Yeah, nothing new. They're used to this. Um, and he shows up. They get to, all three of them, Rose, Mickey, and Jackie, get to go in the TARDIS. Two of them for the first time. Did Mickey go in the TARDIS in the first episode? I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either.
No, he saw it disappear, but no, I don't think he did. But yeah, Jackie runs off because she's freaking out. And they all talk about what's happening, and Mickey is like asking Rose, like, so you're gonna like leave? Well, they have a very nice heart to heart. I don't want to portray him like he's whining, because I think he's validly like upset, and is like, you don't really know how it feels to like not get a single word from you. And she's like, it felt like it was only a few days, I'm sorry. Did she even say sorry? Did she say sorry? I don't remember.
I don't even remember either.
It's been like 5 minutes. If she said sorry, it was only like one time. I would have been super apologetic.
Yeah, no, my god, I would feel so bad. She's so desensitized to like everything.
Yeah, and he like ends it off with like, so are you gonna stay this time? And she doesn't really give an answer, because the doctor is immediately like, I've got the signal or something. And meanwhile, Jackie is what's the word I would use? Snitching on them. Because she sees a number on her TV screen, and it's just like, call if you know about any alien activity. And she's like, boy, do I.
Immediately rats them out. Doesn't even think about it.
And because of that, when the Doctor, Rose, and Mickey all exit the TARDIS, there are like helicopters and police cars surrounding them. Mickey books it, which I thought was hilarious, because no one catches him. They have like spotlights all over them, and he just books it out of there, and no one is like, hey.
He's too fast.
Whatever. He's like, because they're not there to arrest them, because they're only there to escort them to the British White House, basically.
British White House.
And yeah, they said like, what was it, like 10
Downing Street.
10 Downing Street, and me and Haley watching were like, what are they talking about? And I had to look it up mid-episode and be like, it's like the White House. It's where the Prime Minister lives, and eats and sleeps and farts. And so they head over there, and the Doctor is basically well, do we know where Mickey went? We just know he just hides. He like watches.
I think he just ran. Yeah.
Yeah, we just watch this all happen, and he just hides. And you know what? Respect. I can't say I would do any different. I mean, I'm more of a freezer when it comes to like stressing situations. I kind of just freeze up as opposed to run. But my second course of action is to run as opposed to fight. I do enjoy a flight more often. But they head to the, it's not Parliament, British Parliament. That's where they do laws.
Congress?
It sounds like like such a girly, like, the Parliament. That's where they do, like, laws and stuff, right?
Congress?
President? But the Doctor, only the Doctor is allowed there. Oh my gosh! I forgot about Harriet Jones. Harriet Jones, earlier in the episode, because this is a bit of a side plot. I haven't even talked about the actual aliens, the Slitheen. They're the Slitheen. And Harriet Jones, who is she introduced herself as the MP. I don't know what MP is.
No, neither do I.
The major person. And she keeps that's kind of her bit, is that she just introduces herself over and over and over again, with her ID out. And she's a very fun character, and but unfortunately witnesses a man being what I can only assume as skinned to death. Or like eaten, I guess. It sounded like eating noises, I don't know. But the Slitheen like corner this like one officer guy and like straight up eat him off screen. That's another character death. Yeah, there's another thing I have to warn about, is character death.
Oh yeah, there you go.
We need to have like a days without a character death on Doctor Who.
That's more merch.
Yeah. Days since character death is 0. So she's like been a witness to this, and this is the point where she makes contact with our main cast. Is the doctor goes into the meeting with the alien experts and stuff, since he is the alien expert, and and Harriet, because Rose isn't allowed, Harriet Jones is like, you know what, I'll hang out with you. I'll need to pull you aside because I actually want to talk to you about something I witnessed. Um, and she and Rose go, and she confesses to Rose she witnessed, these guys eating people. But it's very soon that they get cornered by the Lady Slitheen. I mean, I don't know their genders. What are these guys' pronouns before I diss them?
Their pronouns actually are and
poop and fart.
Poop and fart. Poop and pee.
Yeah, and
and fart for close friends.
So they're all revealing themselves. We actually get to see like some practical effects, like the costume designing. I have to give it to them, I fear. I think they have to use CGI for like, them coming out of the costumes, of the skin suits, I guess. But once they're like out, they're pretty good alien costumes. Like the eyes blink, the mouth moves. It's very creepy. Like they've got those like what would you call them? Like uncanny valley eyes.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
This definitely belongs in like an analog horror type situation. They've got very big baby faces, I think, because of like the huge cheeks. They've got these huge baby cheeks. And I think I think they're pretty creepy. They're also a new alien monster. I like looked them up. I was like, I'm pretty sure they've appeared in old Who episodes, but they actually haven't. This is actually their first appearance. I think they make reference to them in later episodes, like they've been around forever.
Okay.
I think that's where I'm getting confused, or maybe I'm just thinking of another alien. But I just had this feeling like they've just been around for 50 years. But they haven't. And I think that's where the episode ends off, is like a little cliffhanger, like, how are they going to get out of this one? Because they like paralyze the doctor, I think, with like this electromagnetic CGI.
Yeah, with some Star Wars prequel effects.
Yeah, and then they're like, Christopher Eccleston, could you please just writhe in agony on screen for like, a good minute? That scene got that scene got drawn out for a really long time, longer than I would have liked, but I guess they were like, we have like 5 more minutes left in the episode, we really gotta pad it out. But I think that's where it leaves off. I mean, any further thoughts, Haley?
Well, you did not mention too much about how our first indicator that certain characters are aliens as opposed to others is that they fart uncontrollably.
Oh yeah, that was like a very subtle hint.
Very subtle. That they
only true fans would know.
Yeah.
I also like. I wonder if I should talk about this now or in like the trivia. I feel like I should talk about it now, which is that the doctor talks about how they were called in by UNIT, right?
Yes.
UNIT is actually a very important organization in Doctor Who. That has been around since the second Doctor, at least, I think. And this is the thing I was talking about earlier, where I was like, I gotta explain. This is where I had to do like very quick research, because I forgot UNIT was introduced in this episode. I thought it was going to be a little bit later, near like the end of the series, actually. Or not the end of the series, end of the season, excuse me, or at the beginning of the next season. But I was like, oh, okay, I gotta talk about this now. So I like did some quick research. But the main thing I just want to talk about is that just a name you're probably gonna maybe it'll be important later, but the main person people think of, at least when it comes to old Who, when UNIT is brought up, is the guy who, like, I think he was like the leader of UNIT, or he became the leader. But either way, he was the guy who represented UNIT during the old Who series, and he would be guy to help out the doctor, basically. Like, whenever the doctor had to work with the unit, he'd have to work with this guy, and this guy was his friend. And his name was, okay, mouthful, Sir Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart.
Oh man, okay, committing that to memory overlord.
All you have to remember is Stewart, really, is Sir Stewart. And
Sir Stewart.
He's also called the Greyhound. He is also called the Brigadier, but he was a very iconic character in Doctor Who. He had a little funny 1920s mustache. He kind of looks like, what's the name? Tony Stark's father. Like, you would understand that reference.
You had no idea. I'm not a nerd unlike you.
He looks very much like he was from, like, the 30s or 40s. I'll show you a picture later. But, yeah, he was the guy who would be, like, the Doctor's ally, and he worked with him during, like, a lot of old Who, like, 2nd, 3rd, 4th Doctor, type stuff. I don't know if he worked with, like, later incarnations, but, you know, that's basically the Doctor's, like, old bestie, basically. So that's why I think the Doctor, like, regards UNIT as, like, oh yeah, they're pretty cool people. But they're, like, I do believe they're just, like, the organization that handles, like, extraterrestrial issues, basically.
Okay, well that's pretty cool. I didn't expect that to be so, like, relevant and important.
Yeah, I love that it was, like, kind of reversed, where I thought the Slovene were gonna be, like, the old Who content.
That's true.
Nope, it's UNIT. And I was like, oh god, UNIT, I didn't realize you were gonna be here this early. You're early, UNIT, what the...
And then there's also the fact that kid wrote Bad Wolf on the side of the TARDIS.
I think that's our first official Bad Wolf. Little nod to Bad Wolf.
No, it was in the Dickens episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when the girl was looking through Rose's memories and she goes like, oh, Bad Wolf,
oh,
and that was
yeah.
our first time.
Okay,
That's right.
so this is the episode that officially makes it, like, a thing, you know? Like,
Yep.
This is, like, so we've got a secondary mention of it. In the trivia points when I was reading on it, they called it a meme, which I thought was funny. Like, they mean in, like, the literal version of the word meme, that this is the Bad Wolf meme, and I was like, I wouldn't call it a meme. I would, I think I'd call it, like, a subtle hint to, I don't know what I would call it, but I don't think we use the word meme for that anymore. It's, like, too engrossed in, like, joke culture now.
Absolutely, yeah, no, it means something completely different nowadays.
Yeah, but I mean, who can say? I mean, was the kid influenced by something? Was he just messing around? Who knows? Doctor Who knows?
It's just the world's craziest coincidence.
It's just a crazy coincidence, Haley. I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't say it, I just said he spray painted the thing.
Yeah, well, you're crazy and I need you to stop, okay? We're trying to run a professional podcast right now.
I'm quitting. This is our last episode.
This is our fight on set.
I don't want to play with you anymore. I'm not enjoying this energy that we've made on set.
We've made in the studio today. I love calling my living room the set that you are not in right now. We are in separate locations.
My bedroom.
I mean, other than that, I think, I don't know if I had many thoughts on the episode. It was kind of, I think, like you said, it wasn't my favorite. It was kind of a slog to get through. I kind of just remembered from, like, the first scene mainly, and then the rest of the episode was like, okay, it's the fart alien episode. And what I only remember as this, from this episode, is, like, from this, I guess, sequence? What would you call it? This two-parter? The two-farter? Is...
Two-farter, obviously, yeah. That's what I'd call it.
The scene from the second episode, which I'm looking forward to get to, and I'm hoping it's as good as I remember it being. I can get into trivia stuff. I've got some stuff written down, just to share with you, Haley. Oh yeah, we actually are able to get an update. I hope you remember from the whoisdoctorwho.co.uk website, the little mini ARG they got going on. This is like the first.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this is the first update outside of the first episode where Mickey is officially in charge of the website. But he basically writes on the website that he reveals that he was taken in for questioning despite the police lack of evidence, as well as discovery of evidence to the contrary. An old photograph of Rose and the Doctor present in 1869, which was where they traveled to during the Unquiet Dead episode with Charles Dickens. The police did not take this photograph seriously, unfortunately, and was not convinced by it. But this is the only thing that Mickey apparently had that he knew that Rose was safe, basically.
Okay.
Which I think is interesting. I don't remember them taking
Very
a picture in that episode. But I guess they must have found the time to do it amidst all the ghost hunting. Mickey continues on like expressing his belief that a government a government conspiracy was growing since MP Joseph Green's weight gain, and that he was scared that he may be arrested again. Admits that the only thing keeping him going was the support and belief from his readers. I'm assuming Joseph Green was like one of the aliens, maybe? I wasn't really paying attention to the names. I think that was like the main guy alien.
That's what I would guess, yeah.
I still don't know what an MP is. Like, missing person, major person, minor person? I don't know. But
Major poo-poo, pee-pee pants, poopy pants.
Guy. Yeah, so that's like our little update from the website. I think there's going to be more updates in the future, but that's like the first one outside of, Ep 1. Our second little trivia point is that, I mentioned this earlier, UNIT was introduced again. It was actually first introduced in the second Doctor serial, Invasion, episode 1 in 1968.
Ooh.
And it appears throughout a lot through the rest of the classic series. It makes an appearance during the Seventh Doctor's story, the Battlefield Part 3 in 1989. And I believe the acronym is United Nations Intelligence Task Force. So it's more like intelligence operations as opposed to like extraterrestrials. But they're familiar with the Doctor, so they get called up during alien stuff, basically. They're like, call up the nerds, get them in here.
Get the loser freaks.
Yeah. So another little fact is that, so regarding the TARDIS key, so it originally did look like an ordinary Yale key, quote unquote, apparently. And apparently went through some changes throughout, like, Old Who during the third Doctor's last season. It looked more alien, apparently. I don't have a picture of this. I should probably look this up before I go spouting nonsense. But it reverted back to, So it was like the alien key for the first 2 seasons of the fourth Doctor's tenure, and then returned back to the Yale key form during the rest of the original series. And then the alien key apparently made one last appearance during a Doctor Who movie, which I'm guessing is probably like the 8th Doctor, because whenever I think of Doctor Who movie, it's probably the 8th Doctor, which I don't know if I've talked much about him. He was a very short-lived Doctor. I think all he got was a movie, because
I do remember you mentioning that to me.
Yeah, it was like the in-between transition between Old Who and New Who was the 8th Doctor's little movie that they got to do, basically. And, well, now it's made an appearance back as just a regular key now, and it will stay that way, I believe, for the rest of New Who. I don't believe it ever changes into an alien key for the rest of the series. I think it just stays like that. Now getting on to, I guess, the more, like, little quirky fun facts. This is actually the 700th episode of Doctor Who, just to give you a little scale of how long this show has been running.
We're gonna be doing this podcast until we die.
It's like that episode of SpongeBob where it's like, guess what, Squidward? We're gonna be doing this forever!
Are the other Doctors of the alphabet included? Sure, all 4,085 of them, or whatever it was.
Let's see. Oh, and another fun fact is the scene where the Doctor encounters the pig alien at the hospital is actually the first scene Christopher Eccleston filmed as the Doctor. What a scene!
Oh.
Chasing down a little pig guy. And okay, we get to talk about the trivia that made me laugh before we recorded this episode. So this is what I think I got this from, like, the wiki, in the trivia wiki, which was quote unquote, when the doctor complains of being slapped by Rose's mother, Rose laughingly remarks, "You're so gay." This remark has caused some controversy in fan circles, some seeing it as anti-homosexual slur. Russell T Davies, who is gay, wrote in an email response that is the way people talked, and claimed he was trying to provoke a discussion by using the phrase. What? What are you talking about?
That's gonna be my new response to get out of anything bad I've ever done. Like, listen to my manager when I don't show up on time. Like, I was trying to provoke a discussion.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's only a discussion if the characters discuss it. It was a comment, and that's all it was, really. And I don't think I heard it. It must have been like, a lot of overlap. It was a very stressful scene. I was more paying attention to the slapping than the comments on said slapping. But I just think the Russell T Davies, who is gay, issued a response.
Who did not die.
So basically saying, like, this is just how people talked in the 2000s. And you know what? If we're being honest, that is how people talked in the 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
It's true. And it's crazy that sparked controversy, and I don't know why I pronounce it like controversy. Controversy. It's crazy that it sparked that in 2005 of all years. I think that was like the most homophobic year to be in. No, it definitely wasn't, but it was definitely of all time 2005. I think it was like the most like passive aggressive time you could be a gay person in, because like, it wasn't like the 80s where people were straight up dying, unfortunately, but it was definitely a time where like, gay and, gay slurs and stuff would be like thrown around like it was nothing, basically. Lest we forget our what YouTube was like back then.
Oh yes.
And I think okay, this one made me bust out laughing. This is the last trivia point, and I can't believe it was a trivia point, and I felt I had to include it. This story has the distinction of being the first televised Doctor Who adventure to ever use flatulence humor.
Oh, I knew that was coming. I had a feeling that was gonna be fart related in some way, because it's making me think of, again, I am a Disney adult, and I've seen on different like Disney fun fact lists, like what is it? Like The Lion King was the first Disney movie to ever feature farts. I don't know why it's true, but it's funny.
It's so, well, I guess the fact is that it's a Doctor Who adventure, period, not like a new Who, not old Who, like of all the Doctor Who shows, of all the episodes, this is the first one to use fart humor, and I think that's very brave of them.
Again, in episode 4 of the reboot.
Episode 4, you really couldn't hold it in for...
If that was a very choice of words there.
Yeah, you couldn't hold it in, and you just had to let it go in episode 4, to the disgust of everyone. I wouldn't say...
You couldn't be silent but deadly about it.
I wouldn't say I was disgusted, but I will say I was like, this is just a little weird. Could we like save this for like a later episode? Like, this is like your first impression, on like British television after coming back after like a decade or two being off air. And God, it's just really funny to me. Well,
I'd love to show this episode to a Victorian orphan.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do when I get in the TARDIS.
They'll be like, what is this? I've done this all day and night.
Are you saying that even people in the future will fart and poo?
We haven't gotten over that.
Oh, dearie me. And then they die of syphilis right on the street, right in front of me.
Yeah, right on the spot. I don't think I have much more to say about this episode. It wasn't very thought-provoking, I guess, if that makes sense. I mean, like, the little scenes, like, at the beginning and with Mickey and Rose, I think that was thought-provoking, when it comes to, like, relationships, when it comes to the companions' relationships and how, her time travel is being affected by, or how her life is being affected by time travel, I should say. And that was the most interesting part of the episode for me, was all of that. Not really the farting aliens. You know what I mean? I enjoy.
Controversial opinion.
Yeah, controversial take, hot take.
Hot
Stone me
take.
now. And I did think the pig was cute. Unfortunately, he was only on screen for like a minute.
Yeah, I wish he was more prominent.
Yeah, I missed that little guy. Rest in peace. And yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about this one.
Do we want to give our ratings first, and then I could go through my list that we discussed?
Yeah, Haley's got like a fully thought out list of like all the places she wants to go to if she had a time machine. I definitely want to hear that. Yeah, we should definitely give our ratings real quick.
Would you like to go first? Because I'm not 100% decided on mine.
I will... let me contemplate this. I'm going to give it 4.75 cute, screaming, squealing pigs running on 2 legs out of 10.
Alright, I will give it a 5. First fart joke in Doctor Who histories. out of what I just said.
You know what I should have said? I should have said like 4 years being in time and space and coming back to Earth out of 10. Or something like that. I don't know. I did clearly
you changed your answer.
I didn't word it very well. I give it a 4.75. It's like, it's whatever, I guess. I don't want to give it too low because I did enjoy some of the scenes, but again, it was just...
Yeah, because I was debating either a 5 or a 6, which is why I was like, I'll let you go first, and that'll determine. Because I'm a sheep.
There's definitely better episodes. Not to I think, not to bash any of the performances. I think everyone was giving their all. I kind of just blame the people who decided, this was going to be the fart episode.
That this was going to be the whole episode's identity.
Yeah, this is going to be her name, her face, everything. So please...
She will walk so that the poop episode can run.
Haley, could you please relieve us with your... with your intriguing list? I would like to hear it.
Alright, so this is less like... I mean, I'm sure a lot of these things I would probably want to go and do and see on a time machine, but it's more like places and people that I'm interested in seeing on the show. Mostly because I would like to hit you up on DMs to have to annoy you, and half out of genuine curiosity I'd be like, hey, is there a Robin Hood episode? Is there a King Arthur? Is there a Fart Poo episode? And we got that last one.
Got that out of the way. Check that off your bucket list.
Oh, that'd be fun when some of these come up. I can come back and check them off. But I've made a list of things and people and places that I think would be interesting to see on the show. My first one's Robin Hood, King Arthur, a World's Fair, Marie Antoinette and just the French Revolution in general, Henry VIII, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Plato's, Aristotle, Socrates, a Wild West episode I think would be very fun. Maybe we could go see Billy the Kid. I'd like to see some interactions with cavemen and Neanderthals, maybe discovering fire. Because that is something I would be interested in seeing if I were a companion. At some point, I'd probably be like, can we go see when fire was discovered?
The doctor would be like, no, we can't interfere.
Building of the Great Wall of China, I thought would be interesting. I feel like there's got to be a pirate episode at some point. We could go see Blackbeard. I really hope I'm saying her name right, but there is a pirate queen from China named Zheng Ying. Starting that over. I think a pirate episode would be really fun. I feel like there's got to be a pirate episode at some point. Maybe we could see Blackbeard. There was a woman in Chinese history named Zheng Yi Sao, I hope I'm saying that correctly, and she was like a pirate queen pretty much, and she was absolutely awesome, badass.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yes, she is referenced in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, which is how I first heard about her. She's really cool. I think that would make for a super cool episode. I thought St. Nicholas could be interesting as a Christmas special. They go back and see the actual history behind Christmas. The moon landing, Pompeii, Virginia Woolf, Jane Austen. This is much, much more contemporary, but I was thinking maybe in a future season, Walt Disney or Jim Henson could be interesting people to see, especially because they were, in the grand scheme of the Earth, they were lost very recently compared to a lot of these other people I've been naming. Edgar Allan Poe, the Salem Witch Trials. I would really like to see that one. Madame Curie, Bonnie and Clyde, Cleopatra, Julius Caesar, and Mark Antony, King Tut, Genghis Khan, and Chernobyl is the last one that I have.
And Chernobyl.
And finally, Chernobyl.
The doctor is like, Rose, we're gonna see the elephant's foot. Rose.
Gives her no, like, mask or nothing, like, just pushes her out right into it.
Don't worry, the TARDIS will protect us.
Go take a look.
I will say some of these I'm excited for you to see because some of your dreams will be coming true. Some of these are like, when you like first mentioned some of these to me, because I hadn't heard all of them, but I had heard some of them, and I was like, God, they really need to do episodes on these because it would be really
I'm a
good.
genius.
I think. God, I can't say this joke because it'd be spoilers. Or I guess
write it down.
I could say this joke if you would like me to deny, I guess, one of the existence of one of these.
Please go right ahead.
Okay. Unfortunately, I will have to let you down. I think it would be really funny if we could see the Doctor at the like picket lines for the animation strike with Walt Disney.
Walt Disney and Jim Henson, I figured, because A, those are much more contemporary, and B, I figured if those happened, I would know about it. Mm-hmm. But I just think those would be interesting, maybe in like a future season to see. Like the further we get from their deaths, the more interesting it would probably be.
Yeah, and I guess I also the further we get, like the more it feels like we're not like making fun of them or.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, more of their families.
Yeah, not that. It's like not as tasteless, I guess. Because I think a lot of times when when Doctor Who covers like iconic famous figures, they usually do it in a very good light. Like we did like Agatha Christie, and I think they applied like a good reputation to her and kept her memory in a good light, as opposed to like like I don't know, just being like, oh, she was just a random writer and her husband cheated on her. But I think it also has to do with like some of the figures you listed being like American, like Jim Henson and Walt Disney. They're very American figures, and
that's true.
I think when it comes to visiting historical figures, it's usually European people that I've noticed. I think the Doctor Who could definitely, not to be proud to be an American, but I think they could do a couple episodes on some of our historical figures. Not too many.
Starting with Columbus.
Yeah, not too many though. I think it would be really cool because is Nashuti Gatwa? I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I don't know. The current Doctor. Is he American? I don't think. No, he's not.
Don't ask me.
He's not. He's not American. But he was in Barbie, which was an American movie.
Oh, is that the same guy?
That's him.
I didn't realize it was the same guy.
The one with bleached hair, and then when like the sparkles happen, he's like, ah.
No, as soon as you said it, I knew who you were talking about, but I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, that's him. And
I didn't realize we'd met before.
Yeah, you know him visually. I had thought he was American because he was in the Barbie movie, but I think he is British, and or at least was raised in Europe somewhere. I don't know the countries that well.
Somewhere.
I know like the most iconic ones, and I don't really know them all. I feel like it would be super cool to see him in like doing some like American timeline stuff. I know well, I don't know if I should spoil this. But I don't think this wasn't one of the things on your list, so I don't think you would care, but I know
Go ahead.
that his Doctor, he goes to visit with his companion the Beatles. I've seen
Oh, shut up.
I saw that scene where they were in the recording booth and they were listening to them, and I was like, this is really funny. I really hope we get to
That's
this
pretty
episode.
Cool.
Yeah, but like I said, they do a lot of like iconic British figures, and it's like, if you guys want more story ideas, you got a lot of Americans you can go through. That would be really funny.
You've got a lot of countries that you've colonized whose histories you could go through. Don't go through them too much.
It would be really cool if we could get some like this could be my subtle plug to be like, we should hire Native American actors and we could explore Native American history. That would be really cool for me and my people. That would be really nice.
You could hire Native Americans and their chubby white friends to come help.
And their weird white friends go on adventures together, and we can, like, stop the genocide. We could stop Manifest Destiny. Doctor, you could stop it if you wanted to. I know you could. But yeah, those are my ideas for future Doctor Who seasons. I think it would be really cool if they did, like, a Walt Disney or Jim Henson episode. That would be really fun. But I think for Jim Henson, we're gonna have to settle with the new Saturday Night Live, the SNL movie that just...
Oh, I want to see that so bad.
As of recording, I think just came out. As far as we know, by the time this releases, it'll be, like, straight to DVD. But yeah, Haley, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Could definitely talk. Do we talk about what we think happens in the next episode? We talk about that at the beginning of the next episode, I think.
Yeah, much like our farts, I think we unfortunately have to hold it.
It's just been a while since I've recorded. I forget what our script is. Yeah, so I guess we'll see you next time.
I think we'll have to objection hold it. I'm
gonna be busy dying of laughter.
Oh, we didn't talk about what happened to me while we were recording.
What happened? I forgot. Oh yeah.
You know when I die.
Oh yeah, just as a side tangent real quick, in case we sound a little different, because we might, I don't know, I wouldn't be aware, and I don't know if anyone will be aware, but we actually had to pause recording during our commentary, like watching the actual episode. Hopefully it'll be very seamless during the actual main, podcast episode. But Haley, would you like to tell everyone what the hell happened to you?
I have a phenomenon that's been occurring for the past maybe like 10-ish years, maybe a little less, where like once or twice a year I'll like get a bad chill and I'll get like joint aches and I start shaking a little bit, and it's usually tied into stomach issues, and I'll have to like go and get into a hot bath or a shower in order to make it stop. And I was trying really hard to wait until the end of the episode, and I was like, basically, Julia, I need you to pause because I have to go throw up. I got a bath, and I did not throw up. I did not die. I was
Let the record show.
Let the record show I was fine. It was a wake-up call because I am not the healthiest eater. I don't take the best care of myself, so legitimately for the past few days I've been eating more fruit and healthy foods, which is so funny to think that the Doctor Who fart episode at the point where my life not only changed, but elongated.
Haley, be honest. Did that influence your rating of the episode?
Me dying?
Yeah.
I gave it a point higher because it may have saved my life in a very bizarre, roundabout way.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm glad we mentioned that before I forgot.
Of course, now I would be devastated.
But if we don't have anything else to say, I mean, I think we've said all we have to say about this.
Did you tell me that there was a Titanic episode, or did I make that up?
I don't think I told you that.
Okay. Then add that to my list. Titanic would be cool.
Alright.
Basically, I should just go through a list of Magic Treehouse books and those are my episode. Oh, dinosaurs! I want to see dinosaurs.
You know what? I think based off your entire list, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Some of these are gonna come true in a way that I don't think you'll expect.
Okay, I'm excited for that.
So I hope you look forward to that, and I hope, you know what, you should keep a checklist, because it'll be really funny to, like, just be able to check these off. And then you can keep adding to said list and keep checking things off.
Exactly.
So
yeah, it is a physical list I have in this notebook. I'm going to add Titanic and dinosaurs right now as we speak. Together. I want Titanic and dinosaurs in the same episode.
Same episode, dinosaurs on the Titanic.
That's how they went extinct.
That's how the Titanic sunk.
That would explain so much on both ends, actually.
They put too many triceratops in the hull of the ship. And they made too many holes, and then the iceberg struck, and it was very sensitive, and they all perished. That's
it was a very sensitive boat.
They were actually going to bring them back in 1912, and this was their last shot at bringing dinosaurs back. But unfortunately, you know, there's the tragedy, and we lost them.
It's actually a very common misunderstanding. It's not the Titanic, it's actually the Tritanic. Triceratops.
That's the name of the dinosaur. The Titanic was a dinosaur. Oh my gosh! But well, if you're ready to go, Haley,
I think I'm ready.
We gotta say bye. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. We'll miss you. Hopefully
Catch
we'll
us in the next
soon.
episode. I'll think of you always. Be in my heart. Be still my beating heart. And goodbye. Hey guys, thank you for listening to our show. This was created by me, Julie, and Haley Doherty. The cover arts and thumbnails were illustrated by the two of us and edited by me. Episodes edited by me and social media is run by Haley. Theme song and other sound effects are by half.cool. You can find us on Instagram at me&dw, on Twitter at me&dw, and on TikTok at me&dw. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Thank you again for listening. Bye!